This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
July the 17th be with you on a Friday morning. Welcome on into a numbers game. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. That is Kelly Bidlin. We got you covered for the next 3 hours right here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Sirius XM channel 158, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, and radio affiliates across the United States of God Bless America, and Game Plus in Canada. I did it without a reminder. What's up, Kelly Bidlin?
Nailed it. Got it. Good morning, Dustin. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I woke up. I updated my leaderboard on my phone as soon as I could open these eyes at 4:30 in the morning with the alarm going off, and I said, who are these people?
I'm sure a lot of people are doing at the Open Championship over the past couple of days. Yes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we'll do plenty on the golf throughout. It is live, currently in action. The sun, despite the odds, still out at this course, something I did not anticipate seeing throughout the weekend at Royal Birkdale. We have a lot to get to as far as the World Cup is concerned. It is our final weekend of World Cup action. We will be sad to see it go. We have one match tomorrow for third place. We have one for the title on Sunday. I'm fascinated by all the storylines with all four teams remaining. It does, however, feel a bit un-American, though, that there is even a third place game.
I feel like it's 50-50 whether I'll watch it or not.
No, you're going to watch it.
It's a third place game.
But it's France and it's England. And there's a lot of history there. And I'm not going to start yelling the years of the wars that we've been in with all of them.
You're going to keep bringing it back.
There's good people on both sides of these wars each time. Well, not the big one, but you get my point. The French have helped us in the past, is all my point is. If it wasn't for the French, we'd still be speaking the Old English. Someone tweeted us that earlier this week, and I thought it was very good. No, you're going to watch Mbappe with the golden boot. Here, I'm going to force you to place a bet for the golden boot, and that's going to make you have to watch on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, we dove into that market yesterday. Should I do my PSA now on that, I guess?
Yeah, do it.
Be very careful with your markets and what you're betting if you're interested in golden boot. We were talking about that yesterday with DraftKings odds. Be very careful. FanDuel has clearly golden boot, odds to win golden boot. Odds to win golden boot is not the same thing as top goal scorer in the tournament. Just keep that in mind. I've seen a lot on Twitter about way different odds floating around on this. At FanDuel, you've got Messi's like minus 200 to win golden boot as we got it up there. We know he's going to be playing in the final, and then that's where we were talking about the assist tiebreakers coming into play. You and I were both kind of like, wow, Messi feels a little light at even money. Well, that makes sense for the golden boot race. Yeah, we were right. He that was too late. He should be minus 200. Top goal scorer, you can find him around even money because I'm assuming if there's any ties there, that is going to be a dead heat situation.
Yeah, I want Mbappe, by the way. I
See
think,
how you flipped?
Yeah, I flipped my mentality. One, I don't think myself, I'm not going to include other people in it. It feels like sharp soccer people have given Spain a lot of credit for the style that they play with. Mm-hmm. I think if there's one team that's a really tough matchup, for Messi to get one in the back of the net, it's Spain with the way they play. It's going to be limited possessions. It's going to be limited shots on net. They're going to try and smother him defensively, keep him from beating them. Because of the way Spain plays as a team, I think it's going to be tough for Messi to score. And on the other side, Mbappe has a golden matchup, right? He's got England licking their wounds. Yep. You've got a manager for England that's not going to be around the next time the World Cup happens. He's probably getting fired as soon as that match ends on Saturday. And then you're going to have backups in that matchup. The motivation's not there for England. The motivation for France is for Mbappe to continue to add to his legacy. I think he's going to get one, maybe two in this matchup with England.
I can't wait to talk to Paul Carr, Chris Felica about this situation because we don't know, right? You and I don't know so much of how many backups are going to play and what does that mean for an Mbappe, right? Do you want to win this award or do you just want to make sure you're healthy for your next actual game that matters and not a third place game? I think these are all interesting questions. Can't wait to get into it with those guys.
You want real analysis on the World Cup? VSiN.com, Nigel Seeley, Alex Blowers, already with articles up on both of these final matchups. They've done yeoman's work, really. I don't know what a yeoman is, but I know that's the work that they've been doing on the website because I use it every day to prep for the show. I use it every day to find the bets that I like, the angles. You don't blindly follow, but once you sort of get the gist of the way people who analyze the sport day in and day out feel about certain games and situations, you can come up with your own way to handicap these things. We also have the baseball second half. 28 teams get underway for their second half tonight. In case you missed it last night, the Mets victorious against the Phillies 4-1 as Francisco Alvarez goes yard twice. Brett Beatty hits a homer. Christian Scott, 5 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, no walks. We lost that prop on the over 1.5 walks, but 7 strikeouts. We did cash. Plus 117 on Aaron Nola to have over 5.5 Ks in that game. But the story coming from the Mets out of that, Kelly, they've informed teams that everyone except Juan Soto, Nolan McLean, Carson Benj, A.J. Ewing, and Christian Scott are available. That's per Chelsea Janes, who covers the team, which a name that was not mentioned as untouchable would be shortstop Francisco Lindor, which is fascinating to hear. And as a Mets fan, I just can't help but reflect and think back to signing Juan Soto. Literally Ted Williams of his generation, 27 years old, putting up monster numbers across the board. But it does feel as if the New York Mets have sold their soul for Juan Soto. And for all the transgressions of Francisco Lindor on the field, where there's been a lot of down moments, there's been plenty of up moments and clutch situations where he's come through. The one thing that I can appreciate about Francisco Lindor is the way that he meets with the media. He stands up when they're in the middle of adversity. He wants to have control of that clubhouse to motivate his teammates. While Juan Soto has made it very clear, he has no thoughts of being a leader, despite having the richest contract for a position player outside of Shohei Ohtani. Because of that, I feel like the Mets are losing their soul here if they do trade Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, maybe it makes sense, man. I think it's a good point.
All right, ACC Media Days going down in North Carolina. We will check in with Alex Dono later on in the program, live on the scene. And we're going to play 2 clips for you later on in the show. A crazy statement by a coach that's straight up just lying. I mean, it's one of the greatest lies of all time I've ever heard. And another head coach in the ACC apparently going through an identity crisis. But more importantly, we need to update you right now on the British Open. I look at this leaderboard, Kelly Bidlin, and there's a gentleman by the name of Lucas Herbert at the top of it right now. 8 under for today. He shot a 70 in round 1. He is currently your leader with 132 as his total score, and he was 1 putt away from history not long before we started the program today.
Yeah, he tied history. A bogey on 18 sends him to finishing with a 62. He had 61 in sights. That would have been the lowest round ever at an Open Championship. Instead, the 62, he ties with Brandon Grace from 2017 at this exact same course, who went with a 62. And while everybody was kind of waiting for the Lucas Herbert, was on Lucas Herbert watch for 62, y'all forgot about Sam Burns, because my guy Sam Burns came rushing down the back 9 too, went 8 under on his round with 6 birdies on the back 9. He also finishes his round with a 62. He is 5 under for the tournament, 8 under on his day. So those are now 3 times, let me make sure this way, since 2017, we have had 3 different courses that have given up 62s to 2 different golfers in major championship golf. Wow. This isn't just an Open Championship thing. This is just how much better golfers are these days. That's what that tells me. So, Lucas Herbert is your leader right now, 8 under. He is 2 clear of Jackson Suber, and the guy everybody seemed to forget about this week, Cameron Young, has just finished his round 2. He is 6 under par as well, tied with Jackson Suber there. Then it is Sam Burns, Sungjae Im at 5 under par. Big group then at 4 under par. Lucas Herbert's updated odds. Go to the live odds for this event. Scotty Scheffler, your favorite, plus 420. Then it is Cameron Young at plus 680. Lucas Herbert plus 890. What was he before the round? Dustin, over at DraftKings, 290 to 1. What was he before? What was he before round 1? 280 to 1. And this is, we had great write-ups at VSiN.com on this. Go check that out. Myself, Matt Brown, Wes Reynolds, Matt Humans, all writing out about the first round action that we all saw. The one thing that I wanted to make clear in my piece, Dustin, was I know there are a lot of casuals that catch on for major golf. Jackson Suber, not a nobody. There are some nobodies and some surprise names that are often happen on the top of the Open Championship leaderboard, but this is a guy that has played very well. He has 3 top 6 finishes in his last 6 events. He's been playing very good golf coming into this Open. He's just never played links golf before. That's the surprise.
Scotty Scheffler just underway, Kelly.
Yeah.
And his first shot of the day, he's in a group with Tyrrell Hatton as well right now. I know someone that a lot of people were high on coming into this event. Also getting going in the next 5 or 6 minutes there at Royal Birkdale, Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, all set to tee off their first holes of the day. We will keep you posted all day long. Scotty Scheffler right now, still the favorite, plus 420. At what point, Kelly, do we just go, you know what? It's either too low, because it was about 7-8 to 1 yesterday, 2 days ago before this event started, or at this point in time, now that someone has set the bar for what the expectations are to win this event, with the leaderboard shaking out the way that it has, do we anticipate a surge from Scotty here?
Man, I would think so. I think this continues with Scotty Scheffler. 2 under par, though. You're talking 6 shots off the lead. I'm not going to hate that. I mean, I don't think Lucas Herbert is the guy who ends up winning this event, but I do expect scoring to continue. That was something you and I brought up throughout the course of the week. If conditions were going to be like this and the wind is relatively calm, it's really more about the baked-out golf course that these guys are having to work their way around than really dealing with any elements. So I know I mentioned it once or twice throughout the week. I'm not really shocked that we saw a couple 62s today. I think there are some. It's an open championship course. There are going to be some ugly scores. We are seeing some big names that are going to miss the cut. But these low scores are going to be out there for the next couple days.
I appreciate you including me for a statement that I did not make, that you made, but it looks right. So it looks like you giving me credit means that I brought up the same thing. Below the cut line right now. Well, we're a team on this one. Matt Fitzpatrick below the cut line. Justin Rose, Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama, and Brooks Koepka all currently below that cut line. A
lot of big
They
names.
may be going home early. Fire up the PJ. See if you can group together on the way home.
Yeah, that's right.
Little carpool.
Might be able to save some gas money. Yeah.
All right, when we return, baseball second half, 28 teams underway. I like this dog at plus 110 despite the opposing pitcher on an absolute heater. I'll tell you who that is next on A Numbers Game.
You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VEASAN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VEASAN Pro.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
20 leagues, one mission. Just Win Bets, baby, is your premier source for daily sports betting picks. They break down the data so you can bet with confidence across the entire sports calendar. Scan the QR code or visit justwinbetsbaby.com today and start betting smarter with Just Win Bets, baby. The name says it all. Speaking of names, that's Kelly Bidlin. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. It's A Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network. Kelly, back in the day, maybe about 2-3 years ago, he'd be considered a bear in some places. When I lived in West Hollywood, I was considered a bear. I was definitely considered a bear when I lived in West Hollywood.
Anymore?
I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, but you don't think you're considered a bear anymore?
I guess, does that travel with it?
Yeah, of course it travels.
And then the OG of Bears is our next guest. He is Chris the Bear Felica. He is the host of Bear Bets over at Fox Sports, and he joins us now on the progressive guest line. Chris, we'll get to the World Cup. We'll get to some of the horse racing as well. But I want to continue a conversation we had during the break where you and I might be on opposite sides here, and I like the case you're making. The Miami Hurricanes. I'm a fan. You're an alum, so obviously you're a fan. Minus 136 to win the ACC. Media Day is going down in in Greensboro, North Carolina right now. I'm not willing to lay that number because I have trust issues with Mario Cristobal, but I thought your argument was pretty strong as to why they might be worth a look on the other end going against me.
I've already bet it. I bet it at 135 already. So you look at the schedule, they're going to be in the ACC championship game. I mean, they do have the trip to Clemson, and that who knows what Clemson is going to be. But when have they not shown up for a big game under Mario Cristobal? Every big game they have, they should. And I think that Mario Cristobal kind of gacks games away. I think that narrative needs to go away. Yes, they did lose it against Louisville last year with 4 Carson Beck interceptions, 3, maybe I think it was 4, and the 4th one didn't count because the play was called back. So they lost that game, and Jeff Brom has always given them problems. Yeah. The SMU game was a game where they had 8 starters out. a late flag on a weird call, wind up losing in overtime against a good SMU team. So you lost those games, and the rest of the season, and so those inferior teams that they needed to pummel to get to the playoff, they did. So I think that's a thing of the past. The only issue I have with Miami, I shouldn't say issue, concern, the biggest concern I have is, while I believe they're going to be more talented than they were last year, you lose the guts, leaders, locker room guys on the team. You lose Keontae Scott. You lose C.J. Daniels. You lose Keelan Marion. You'll lose Ruben Bain. You lose Akeem Mesidor. Like the heart in CeCe Magoa. You lose those guys who not only were great players, but great leaders that kind of self-police the team. So you're going to need a Moten or a Fletcher or a Tony or a Motore, someone like that to step in and kind of be that glue guy in the locker room. But talent-wise, they are by far the best team in the ACC.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I just think about, maybe it's not even Cristobal. Maybe it's some of the transgressions of the past. I remember late games at Pitt a couple of years ago, Syracuse at the end of the year, Georgia Tech at the end of the – Georgia Tech was Cristobal, but you're right, including the playoffs too. Let's factor in how big those games are. He always shows up dialed up. They always win at the line of scrimmage. And at this point, I just trust them with transfer quarterbacks. We've reached a point in college football in this landscape now. We're finding out who knows how to work the transfer portal and get players, but more importantly, how to work them in and develop them. Miami back-to-back years. Cam Ward, number one pick in the draft. That was not anticipated. Carson Beck, a third rounder going to Arizona, might start this year. And now they bring in maybe the best of them all in Mensah. I bet him 16-1 here at Circa for the Heisman. Do you think he has a chance to be a part of that elite group, or is he on the outside looking in?
Oh, he absolutely has a chance to be part of the elite group, because I think the winner of that Miami-Notre Dame game on November 7th is going to be undefeated and be the number one ranked team in the country going into the playoff. And I think if you have certainly the quarterback at Notre Dame, if they go undefeated, he will win the Heisman Trophy, C.J. Carr. With Miami, the only concern I have with your bet there is, do we have a situation where there's a little bit of a vote split? Does Malachi Toney get some votes? Does Mark Fletcher get some votes? I think you'd be in a really good position, but I would be concerned about that. But I don't think this is going to be a year in general where you can look at that list right now. Anybody below Trinidad Chambliss, just get rid of right now. Well, I should say Gunnar Stockton would be a guy that you could throw in there, but with the talent level at quarterback, and you kind of have that separation of teams and players there, Carr, Manning, Mensah, Moore, Sayin, Chambliss, like Stockton potentially. Like, it's going to be one of those teams, because one of those teams is going to be number one. One of those teams is going to be 11-1, 12-0 most likely, and one of those quarterbacks will win. This is not going to be a Fernando Mendoza coming from off the map at 100, 150-1, or Travis Hunter 65, 70, 80-1 a couple of years ago. This is going to be a very formful year, I believe, in the Heisman market.
All I know, fellas, is it's going to be a long college football season for this Florida State grad. And I don't want to see that ACC odds board like ever again. That is a real depressing thing to look at. Boy, 35-1 and minus 135. Okay, over to the World Cup, Chris. Let's head there to one of the most historic pitches in all of soccer, the Meadowlands. We'll go over there for the World Cup final here. Spain and Argentina. I think I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines, but you're loaded up with a couple more bets for the final. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, where Shep Messing and Giorgio Chinaglia and Pele made their hay.
Of course.
Over in northern Jersey. I do think Spain to lift the cup is the play that I like the most here. I believe Argentina is going to be a very trendy public side, but I just think the way Spain have the ability to control the ball and just kind of suck the life out of the game, like they did against France, like they did against Portugal. If it gets to extra time and it gets to penalties, you would think with Emi Martinez, Argentina might find a little bit of magic. But this feels like a 1-0, 2-0 type of game, just like the Spain-France match did the other day. I know there have been some reports about Lamine Yamal nursing I believe a thigh injury, but they say he's under no concern for missing the match. Even if he's not in, I still like the play, and you might be able to get a little better price on that because you just look at the midfield that Spain have. You look at the defense that they have with Cucurella and Pedro Porro and Boca Barci, who has been the best young player in the tournament, they just do not allow shots. I think Unai Simon, the keeper, has made 6 or 7 saves the entire tournament. So you don't get shots on goal, you can't score. And Spain do not allow shots on goal. I think Spain win 1-0, 2-0, something in that range.
What are we thinking about Saturday?
Yeah.
Because this, as Americans and as non-soccer guys, for me and Kelly,
we got more questions about this. Yeah.
We're kind of in the group think of how does England get up from this? You see it from a betting angle over and over again. Demoralizing loss with so much on the line, and now you have to play again. And there's no way they're going to run it back here with Thomas Tuchel for another World Cup. So his days are numbered. How do you see this one going in the third place game where right now in the betting market, France is minus 215 and England's plus 170?
I think you need to wait. I would not make any wager until you either get information on the starting lineups or see the starting lineups because I agree. If you look at the England locker room right now, I don't know how you get up from that. Like you said, Thomas Tuchel even said the day, like, no one wants to play this match. And I would imagine France, at least you could make a case that in Didier Deschamps' final match, you would think that France wouldn't like to send him out a winner. But again, do we know what type of lineups we're going to? Are we going to see an effort to put Kylian Mbappe out there or Harry Kane out there to maybe try and score 2-3 goals to win the Golden Boot? I don't know. I do know the only thing I am sure about in this game is that this is not going to extra time. Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are on the 3-way. You could maybe get, if you can get some type of ARB or a scalp on a 3-way, you could probably do that because the last thing these guys are going to want to do after suffering through the losses that they did in the semifinal is have to play another 30 minutes in the heat and humidity of South Florida, where I believe there's also a really good chance of late afternoon thunderstorms, which could kind of put a little kink in things as well. But yeah, I would not make any way. You could even find like own goal at like 9-1 or so. That might be a fun little. I know, Dustin, you like to throw a little funsies bets out there on some player props and such. Like that might even be a little fun thing to watch. Like could be a little loose play. But yeah, I would wait and look at the lineups before really getting involved here.
Chris, minus 110 for France, draw plus 285, England plus 270 on the 3-way. And then how does this affect your thoughts on Golden Boot? And is that, do we think Mbappe is live or is just not a bet you can make right now because you don't know if he's going to play or not?
You don't know if he's going to play. And that's the ultimate thing. And I would not expect Messi to score more than 1 goal probably in the final against France, but he does now have the edge on assists. He's got 4 assists now as well after having a couple in the semifinal. So Mbappe is going to have to win it outright. So we're just going to have to wait and see if indeed he does get named to the 11 after not scoring and really being a non-factor in the semifinal. So I would not make a wager here. Because just of the uncertainty of whether there's going to be a roster turnover or not.
Chris, 30 seconds. Horse racing this weekend. What are we looking at?
Yep. I think we can start today at Saratoga. The number 8 horse, Awesome Check in the De La Rose. Trainer Horacio De Paz is winning everything right now at Saratoga. This horse goes back into a New York bred handicap type race. I think very live here. Del Mar opening day as well. Don't forget to fire in on Del Mar later today. The number 8, Charlie's Curlin in the Oceanside handicap, the traditional opening day feature there for Jeff Mullins. I think this horse taking back off the pace, sitting from an outside post, looks to be very good. And then the Haskell tomorrow looks like it's going to go. Obviously, the weather in the Northeast could be an issue, but the Puma is back. Where he was one of the Triple Crown favorites earlier in the year, got injured, and I think he's going to be better off now for the remainder of the year, not having the attrition of the Triple Crowns. The Puma 72, I like him tomorrow as well.
The Bear, Chris Felica, breaking down the ponies here on A Numbers Game. Thanks for the time, man. Good luck with all the bets.
Appreciate you.
I'm ready to get my heart broken by this team in the NFL. Find out who on the other side.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Welcome to Friday. What up, what up, what up? July 17th. May the July 17th be with you. I'm Dustin Sweetelson. That's Kelly Bidlin.
Do you do that
Injecting
just
a little
for
bit of
me?
energy. No, that's my new shtick. My new
okay.
shtick is I'm starting every show with it, but I do like to reuse it later on because it became a bit a few years ago.
Oh, it's my favorite Dustin Twitter
Because-
thing. That's why I didn't know if you did it just for me.
So everyone did like May the 5th be with you, and I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. It's going to become May the 6th, May the 7th, May the 8th.
Yeah, it's
And
real obnoxious,
At
but it's
one
funny.
point, I think I got into like late July, maybe even early August, and people are like, yo, if you don't stop this, I'm reporting you to Twitter. I was like, what are they going to do? Tell me to stop being hilarious? At Dustin Sweetelson, by the way, at Kelly Bidlin, at VSiN Live. You can follow us. Kelly and I both a little out of breath. Well, me more so because I have not lost the weight that Kelly has lost in the last year.
Is Danny mad at us? Did you? Is Danny mad at you?
Ooh,
I detected a tone with Danny to you when we were sitting down.
I'm behind on the reads.
I don't. Usually, I'm the one in trouble, so I'm very happy. It sounded more just like you than me.
Well, for those that want to know what happened is we both ran out of the studio at the same time to use the restroom because this is what happens. It happens to women, but when you spend too much time around someone, eventually your cycles sync. And our pee cycles have synced now, where we're like on the same schedule of having to use the restroom. So that's all that occurred. We didn't get to chat with Paul during the break, who's
know.
waiting for us.
Been
He's like,
hanging out
he's like, I'm
patiently.
used to Gil reading 30 tweets before I come on, not you guys talking about using a urinal. So with that, let's get to Paul Carr breaking down everything going on in the World Cup, doing a tremendous job here on a numbers game. Check out True Media Sports. Also, Expected Value is the podcast. At Paul Carr, you can find him on X. Sorry for all that, Paul. That was not worth waiting for. But what is worth waiting for is what we have this weekend. And call me crazy to steal a bit from Stormy and JVT. I am more excited to see what England looks like against France in this third place game. There's something like so un-American about even playing this game, however it exists. France is minus 215. England's plus 170. Thomas Tuchel probably on borrowed time there as the manager of the English. How do you feel about what we're going to see?
I have no idea. I mean, third place match. I mean, what I expect Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe will both play because they're both in the Golden Boot race. So I would expect them to do that. I think this will be an open game. No, third place games tend to be 11 of the last 12 have had at least 3 goals, and half the last 12 have had at least 4 goals. So if you want to play over 3.5 at plus money, I don't mind that. I may end up sprinkling a little on there, but I don't know. I don't know what the roster, the lineups are going to look like. Like we may see, 20 guys who have barely played in this tournament starting this match. So it's a weird game, even more so with these teams. Sometimes you'll get a team, maybe Croatia or Morocco 4 years ago, were like, hey, getting to the semis was just a massive thing. So they're maybe a little more excited to be in the third place game. But both these teams expected to be in the final and expected to win this tournament. So this is definitely a letdown of sorts for them. So if anything, I would play the over, but without knowing who's going to play and what these lineups are going to look like, I'm not going near this game at all.
Okay, yeah, and we talked a little bit about this with Chris Felica earlier in the show, Paul, and I really think me and Dustin are probably more fascinated by this than maybe even the final. But the list of don'ts, I think that don'ts from a betting standpoint leading into this game. And Chris said, look, I don't even think you could really consider Kylian Mbappe for Golden Boot until you know for sure if he's playing or not. So I think I would add that onto the list. And then this is... He brought up, I thought this was a great point, we can play the to win, to advance, to lift whatever third place trophy market or the 3-way 90-minute market. Chris thought you should absolutely look in that as opposed to, because this is not going to extra time. Is that something you would say too?
Yeah, I would not want to play. Like the draw price at 285 looks nice. Like that's appealing. But the fact that, first of all, the fact that they play extra time in this match is ridiculous. Like just go straight to penalties and end this thing. But yeah, I don't think either team's going to want to go to extra time. So I would expect, again, who knows, but I would expect if this is tied in like the 80th minute, I would expect and hope that these teams are making some, kind of silly looking subs just to try to get a goal, like sub on a forward or two just to get it over with one way or the other, because I don't think they care that much. But again, it's all just guesswork at this point.
Yeah, Paul Carr is our guest, True Media Sports, soccer handicapper, Expected Value podcast at Paul Carr on X. I mean, we probably should have started this way, but we haven't talked about what happened with England and the meltdown against Argentina. Paul, you watch a lot of soccer. Let's do both sides of it here. Argentina, the comeback kids, it continues. Now they're in the championship, but But England, the style at which they went about it, once they had a 1-0 lead, just not being involved offensively. I think I saw 12% of the possession once they went up 1-0. Like, how do you even defend that if you're the English?
It's really weird. I mean, it's basically what they were criticized for under Gareth Southgate, their previous manager, the last few tournaments. They went up real early on Italy in a Euro final and tried to park the bus for 85 minutes. Obviously, that didn't work out well. But then in the first game against Croatia of this tournament, they were up 3-2 in the second half, and they went for it. They did not park the bus, and it was almost this revelation, if England's going to do this, given all the talent they have, because they're one of the 3-4 most talented teams of the tournament. And if they're going to go for it when they have the lead, that just changes the upside of this team. And then they get to this Argentina match and they don't do that. And this, again, they didn't go up 1-0 in the 80th minute. You want to park the bus then? Fine. But they went up 1-0 in the 55th minute and just became not interested in playing. So I don't know if this was a residual effect from the Azteca game against Mexico. There they bunkered in for a while, but they were down a man and they were at Azteca. That's a totally different situation. And you're playing Mexico, which does not have the creative playmakers that Argentina has. So that was a very different situation. And, I kind of understood, putting on some defenders because you're going to face crosses and such. But at the same time, why wasn't Bukayo Saka in to be an outlet on the wing? Maybe he's dealing with injuries, but something in that vein, just to relieve pressure for a few minutes here and there is what England needed. And it wasn't something that they seemed either interested in doing or maybe was capable of doing.
Yeah, and this is, Paul, spin this forward with Argentina, because I feel like we've seen this type of team in other American sports before, but we've gotten to the point in the tournament where I feel like I keep hearing this about Argentina. Team of destiny, or they just keep getting a little lucky and getting by each one of these opponents and are a little overrated. I don't know which is true. They're in the final. What do you feel about this team and how they've gotten to this point?
Yeah, I think they're kind of both true. They remind me of the Chiefs from 2-3 years ago. And then the question is, are they going to, they're in the final, they're in the Super Bowl. Is it going to be one of those where they, battle it out and pull out a win against the 49ers? Or, I think there's a chance it's, the Chiefs ran to the Eagles a couple years ago and just got smoked. There's a chance of that. But they clearly have all the intangibles, which as a numbers guy is a little difficult for me to digest, but they have the grit, they have the belief, they have the team spirit, all these things. I mean, I was at their quarterfinal against Switzerland and the fan support in Kansas City was 98% Argentines. It was crazy. I don't think it'll be that dramatic in New Jersey for the final, but it's going to be a pro-Argentina crowd. So that's something. So I don't know. I struggle to, on paper, just think look, Spain is significantly better and they're favored for a reason, but Argentina, they've won 3 straight tournaments, international tournaments, major tournaments, and on the verge of a 4th, which no one's ever done before. So you can't discount whatever it is that they have.
No one's gone back-to-back since Brazil in 1962, winning back-to-back World Cups. And I'm going to go cross-sport on you again, Paul, just with the comparison. Both teams, I think, could be compared to the Knicks and their run. Argentina never out of it. All these comebacks, waiting for the best shot, best shot of a team, and then answering and winning in the end. And then Spain, it's the best team. They play together as a unit. You can see the chemistry. You see the cohesion. They're not the most athletic team in the field this year, but for some reason, the way they work together, the way they take advantage of counters, they both remind me of the Knicks in their own way. How do you think these two styles match up with each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about Spain is if they get a 1-goal lead, they're not going to pull in England and just decide to bunker in for the rest of the game. I mean, obviously it's different. It's the last few minutes. That's a different thing. And I think they'll continue to press. That's what they do. They press out of the midfield, especially, and don't give you a whole lot of opportunities. They've allowed 2.1 expected goals this entire tournament, which is crazy over 7 games. The shot quality they allow is low. Just any metric. I mean, they've only allowed 1 goal, if you want to just make it super simple. 1 goal in the whole tournament, which is impressive. So Argentina's going to have to figure out a way to break that down. I don't know if they can. Again, they've always seemed to find a way, but Spain, I think, is just better equipped to deal with that because they won't have to change as much as what they do if they get a 1-goal lead.
Okay, I like it. Paul rolling in with 3 bets for you for the World Cup final. Paul, talk us through all these.
All right, we'll start first half. I think this first half could look a lot like the Argentina-England first half, which had no shots in the first 30 minutes. First World Cup game on record to do that. So this could be really cagey, look like a final, etc. Wouldn't shock me if there were no goals in the first half. So I've played that at plus 155. Spain's last 4 first half, 2 scoreless, 1 only had a penalty. None of Argentina's 4 knockout stage first halves had more than 1 goal or about 1 XG, and they all had, I think, 8 or fewer shots. So I think this will feel like a final. England, Argentina, that first half hour especially, no shots, but it was still pretty entertaining. They were just battling it out in the midfield. So that's my first bet. And this is a little bit contrary maybe, but I still like both teams to score. Minus 105. I mean, Spain has found a way to score in every game, but the Cape Verde game when they outshot them 27-6 in the opener, and Argentina has scored twice in every game. And obviously we've talked about their belief and such. So I like both teams to score around even money, but ultimately I just like Spain to win. This is a 90-minute bet at plus 130. They're the better team. They're good defensively. They're better defensively. They're as good offensively. Maybe I'm banging my head against the wall a little bit by betting against Argentina because they have Messi and the devil magic and whatever else is going on there.
Magic.
But I think like Real Madrid in Champions League, you don't want to bet against them, but here I am again. So just Spain to win at plus 130 in 90 minutes.
All right, that was awesome. Paul, you've been crushing it. I know you do soccer all year long on the program, but World Cup, it's your time to shine. You've been killing it. Thanks for doing this as always, man.
It's been fun. I'm going to go take a nap for 2 weeks after this.
Yeah,
Paul
you should.
Carr, True Media Sports Expected Value Podcast at Paul Carr. You can find him on X. We've got Steve Fezzik, pro handicapper, coming up in about 20 minutes here on the show. With that, we got to run through our bets for the day, including a baseball game that gets going in the next hour. That's next on A Numbers Game.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Dustin Sweetelson alongside Kelly Bidlin. It's A Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We get tweets at VSiN Live, at Dustin Sweetelson, at Kelly Bidlin. Bob Geddes writes in. How about Bob dedicated?
Hey.
I just walked into a store in Spain and they were playing doo-wop. Now I think of you in A Numbers Game. The Bearded Brothers shenanigans are top tier.
Bob, we love you. We love how much you listen. Can you please enjoy your vacation time in Spain, though, please?
Yeah, can you step away for a minute from this time of year? Like, it's probably like better to be enjoying Europe than these two morons.
I know we're going to have to watch it here in a couple minutes, but he was texting me yesterday about the hoof moment on the show that I could not get over. Real quick, before we get into wackiness, I do have to thank a few people for the past, month, 6 weeks, Danny? I don't even know how long we've been talking World Cup at this point. But Chris Felica, Paul Carr, multiple times a week, Drew Dinsick on this show, Dallin Cuff on the show, every single week through the World Cup. Every single one of them did an amazing job. I tailed most of their futures, made out very well, was a profitable World Cup I was not expecting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed having them, seeing them, listening to them on the show. I know I did. And a big thank you to those guys who took a lot of time out of their lives to join us.
The most frustrating part of the World Cup to me was there's two, I guess. One, I have to retire being a soccer expert now. I've been a soccer expert for the last 4 to 6 weeks.
I know, right? We gained all this knowledge.
It's like the end of March Madness. I just learned who's on every team, and now we have to walk away. The second is I am up betting the World Cup, which makes me wonder, I know nothing about soccer, and I'm winning. How come the sports I know a lot about, I struggle to be above 500?
It's a tough feeling. It's a tough feeling. Sports betting can be wacky sometimes, but you know what? Everybody I've heard say something similar. It's okay. You know what the best thing is about this? It's the timing, because now we're going to end this thing, and it's going to be right towards the end of July. And I don't know about you, but I'm counting my money now for NFL futures and contests and everything. So any boost to the bankroll, I will gladly take this time of year.
All right, we also have some write-ins over on X at VSiN Live, at Dustin Sweetelson, at Kelly Bidlin. Scrabble Star. Dustin, I have to remind everyone that there is no such thing as positive regression. Sorry about the caps. I was yelling at my phone. Regression is by definition negative. You can regress less, but positive, no. We will ask Steve Fezzik who is right in this great debate coming up in just
I really
a minute.
believe this is an English versus math thing. Like in math, there is positive regression in statistics. We'll ask Steve. I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah,
I'm not
English
dying on this hill.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's progression or regression.
Yeah.
I get that from an English standpoint.
Yes. You can't negatively regress. That's a negative times a negative, which equals a positive. Speaking of, I did reveal way too much on yesterday's show, including that one of my guilty pleasure videos I watch are cows getting their hooves shaved. And shout out to the guy yelling at Kelly because trying to say that it was horses that I watch. I don't know how you think you know what I watch, but mine are definitely cow hooves. This is not what a horse hoof looks like. So this is what happens. They go in, they have a cut, they have a hole in their hoof, they have to even things out. They just have to get it shaved down. It's like going and getting a pedicure. And they take this sharp device, they cut it down, they find the spot, they fix it for the cow who's suffering, and that's why your steak tastes the way that it does, because this cow gets to live a little bit longer.
Unfortunately, I've seen this enough now. I'm not as disgusted.
Look at that hole.
We hit this point, it's really, really disgusting. So wait, are they shaving off, like this is bone or hoof?
No, it's like a nail.
Okay, so it's like a nail. Fine. So they are cutting nail away to get underneath it where there is a lot of dirt, scum, whatever.
No, I think that's either dirt or an infection because it goes under the nail.
Okay,
so I think they're fixing an infection or something, some injury.
So they're going to scrape this out,
clean it out. They're going to spray it. They're going to disinfect it.
This is so. It's
just
so
like getting a
disgusting.
pedicure, or it's like an ingrown toenail where you got to go get it cut out. They put some medicine on it so it doesn't get infected and it doesn't grow back the same way.
Yeah, but I don't have to watch that. You know
I
what
watch
I mean?
those videos too.
Yeah, I know.
I get pedicures myself.
I get them too, but I don't necessarily look down at my feet.
I don't have a foot fetish. I just want to lay that on the line. I've never sucked a toe in my life over here. Just want to make sure. I'm admitting a lot on the show. That is not something I'm into.
No, okay, all right.
I've never put a foot in my mouth.
Sure, I'll speak for the crew. Sure, sure.
I think this is a very normal video that people watch.
I maybe. There's a lot of stuff on the internet these days, so who knows what's normal anymore, okay? How about that?
That's a valid point. What is on the internet are our best bets in my best bets in Major League Baseball, VSiN.com/picks. If you want to check them out, we do have some best bets from all the guests on the show. Let's begin recapping. Let's run through, like my girlfriend in college was, all the bets that were placed on today's numbers game.
Let's do that. Am I running these for you?
I like when you lead into the other people's bets.
Oh, okay. So we're going soccer first then. We're going soccer first. We'll go with Chris Felica, who's got a lot of bets today, both on the horse track and at the World Cup. We'll start with the World Cup. Spain to lift the cup, -150. So he's going to play. This is very important. Lift the cup, especially if you haven't been betting World Cup throughout the entirety of it. Lift the cup. This is basically the to advance market that you've been betting through the or the knockout stages here. And then we had Paul in the 90-minute. We'll get to that later. He's also on the under 2.5 in this game at -115. And then I know we had some horse racing bets as well from Felica. Thank you, Danny. This is today, the De La Rosa Handicap, race 9 at Saratoga. The 8-horse, Awesome Check, 6-1. And then also today, Oceanside, race 8 at Del Mar. This is the 8-horse, Charlie's Curlin, 6-1. And then the Haskell Stakes, race 12 at Monmouth tomorrow. He is on the number 4-horse, the Puma, 7-2, who we remember from the Kentucky Derby. Is that where he was at? And then we never saw him again, Dave? Yeah, Kentucky Derby. I remember my horse races. Okay, over to Paul Carr. He's got a 3-pack of bets for the World Cup final. Under a half, first half goals at +155.
I love that one.
I think I do, too. Because even the Argentina magic that we've seen, it's been late, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to bet that as well. Both teams to score, yes, -105. And then Spain to win on the 90-minute line, +130. As he even rightfully pointed out, because I was thinking the same thing. Look, if you have a shop where the same game parlays still reward some of these negative correlated plays, this is that, because both teams to score, yes, combined with an under half first half goals. That is not very correlated.
Can I bring up one thing I'm just realizing, and I don't think this should be allowed? The World Cup final can be decided on penalty kicks. Sure. I feel like they should have to play till their legs fall off.
Oh, you think this is like we got to throw out that role in the app?
Like we play it out. Best team to eventually punch it through. Maybe you change the substitution stuff late in the match once we get into like extra time. But I don't know if I like the World Cup being decided on PKs, because the more I think about it, with the way that Spain plays, specifically defensively, and really the only offense coming on counters, and then Argentina with those guys offensively, I think Spain tries to keep it away from Argentina, doesn't let them set up offensively, and then we could be looking towards a draw, which will then lead to a potential shootout, and then Argentina has the advantage.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I have a feeling. I think I'm going to play that under in the first half. Kind of have a feeling just the game under is a really good bet too.
Yeah, I agree.
Just with how Spain's playing, and then if this messy magic finally stops, right, and that's amazing Spain defense could step up and really shut them down. Yeah, I think this could be a low-scoring game.
All right, as far as I have today, Major League Baseball, we return for the second half, and we're looking at the Rays coming up here. What time is it? About an hour and 12 minutes. Griffin Jack's on the bump, taking on Jake Bennett. Look, I understand wanting to back Jake Bennett. He's been red hot. I'm one of these people where I look for opportunities to bet against someone who's on a surge. I just think Tampa Bay is a good play. I got plus money. It's now minus 107. I don't love that as much, but in baseball, I like to take these plus prices when I can find them, when I'm into them. Jax has been good this year. Tampa Bay has seen him before, and the Rays are 19-7 straight up against lefties. Boston 6-10 in home division games. They're also 30-38 straight up against righties, minus 17 units on the year. Give me Tampa Bay. Taking the Cubs minus 138. I love this spot against Bailey Ober and the Twins. Ober pitches to a lot of contact. And right now, the Cubs at the end of the first half have been great the last 2 months. We're talking about a team, 54 homers last 36 games, OPS around 786. And then Ober, since 2024, 0-9 against teams averaging 1.25 or more home runs per game. I think this offense for Chicago decimates Minnesota, and then Colin Ray keeps them in this ball game with a 2.72 home ERA. Give me the Tigers. Give me Detroit on the road at the Angels, minus 104. Troy Melton's been better, and the Tigers are the offense that I trust. It's simple as that. Detmers against teams averaging 4.4 or less runs per game, 2-12 straight up, going back to 2024. And then finally, the Giants-Mariners were on the under because I believe Bryce Miller and Landon Roop will keep both offenses that I hate at bay today at T-Mobile in Seattle. So those are the plays.
I like it. I only got one from yesterday. It's old Chad Tracy, 28-1 AL Manager of the Year. Let's go Red Sox.
All right, get the tweets in at VSiN Live, at Dustin Sweetelson, at Kelly Bidlin. Steve Fezik's going to join us. Pro handicapper, only two-time winner of the Hilton Super Contest, and he's been listening to me all week on the show. I trigger Steve. Over under 3.5 items will be discussed about something I brought up during the show that he hates over the last 5 days. Find out when we return on Numbers Game.